Hey everyone, welcome back. I appreciate you coming in. You may have already seen the previous video on how to get some of your kids to write. That's one of those strategies. It's not the be all end all, but hopefully it'll help for you. If you haven't checked that out, please go ahead and check that out. Now I'm going to let you know about certain things here that I do for my class that will help as far as how to get these kids to write a little bit more. Now, in the way that I'm showing you, I'm going to go over the process of why I do this and how you can use it in your class. So let's take a look at it. So we talked about in the last video like how to organize these things through the graphic organizer, but by first using a mind map or a bubble map, right? So after you get to that point now of having those kids look at the graphic organizer, now it gets to the writing part. And you and I probably remember when we wrote before what we were supposed to do, and some parents have told me that they've even Googled this, and because the way that I tell the kids in the class how to do it is different from what that shows in Google, right? So, and what we've been taught, what we've been taught before was, okay, let's come up with a title, then let's come up with an introduction, our body paragraphs, and then let's go ahead and go with our conclusion, right? Remember that, right? Well, we're going to change some of those ideals, and we're going to just kind of tweak it a little just so that you can see a little more, at least what I have found. Again, this is not the be all end all, but what I have found to help these kids out in writing a little bit more, only because they have now the luxury of technology, right? So the first thing that they're going to work with are those body paragraphs. Now, the body paragraphs are, again, what they ended up doing with their graphic organizer. So if with the graphic organizer, if they have 3 paragraphs, then they have the 3 paragraphs. If they wrote more, or you're getting your kids to write more, then go ahead and get them to write down all of their paragraphs according to that graphic organizer. So however many paragraphs you started with a minimum of 3, right, with a minimum of 3 body paragraphs, that is done, right? Now, most, if not all of your kids, you probably have talked about summarizing, right? So a summarization is what you're going to end up doing towards the conclusion, right? So you're going to talk about conclusion here that they're going to write next. And they're simply, again, summarizing the things that they've gotten from each one of those paragraphs in the body, right? And then they're going to end up closing it up. And you'll show them how to do that. Again, what you're trying to emphasize right now is to try to get them to write first, right? That's what we're looking at. So after the conclusion, what they're going to work with, because of this technology, is that they're going to go ahead and move back up where we once had to struggle with that introduction and work with the introduction now. So with that introduction, we've talked about our body paragraphs, so they know a lot about what's being talked about. We know that the conclusion is going to be the next thing. They've summarized it. Well, now how are we going to introduce it? Well, let them know, hey, watch one of your favorite YouTube videos. Maybe this is one of your favorites. But at the beginning, here you're going to let your audience know what is your paper going to be about, right? So I tell my students to stay away from the I, me, my, we, anything that pertains to themselves, and start thinking more of like a journalist, right, for their favorite paper, whether it be Sports Illustrated, Wall Street Journal, whatever the case is, right? Being a journalist and staying away from the I and referring to themselves, but instead writing about the actual subject or topic. Now, after these 3 are done, then we go up to the title. Because at this point, we all know, and we've gotten it before, where the title was report. Yeah, just simply report. We need to get them to do something a little more creative. Now that they know a little more about their paper and what they're writing about, now they can actually come up with hopefully, some better title than report, right? So they'll go ahead and write their title. I know that this is really out of order from what we used to learn and what we were taught, but this is what I have found to be the easiest for my classes in trying to get them to write as much as possible. That in conjunction with the other video that I talked about that has the graphic organizer and the mind map or bubble map, right? So these are the things that I would suggest that you can try. Certainly, again, not the be all end all, but I really hope that this does help you. And then you'll find that there are some kids that are just going to write like crazy. I've had one of my students who wrote no more than 2 pages before. By the end of the year, ended up writing 33 pages. No joke, 33 pages with just all this detail, and she still wasn't done with her paper. So that's just one of there were a couple instances like that in my class, but most of the kids have written more than they've ever written before for any other teacher that they've had prior by using the things that I've done in this class. I'm just letting you know that that's what I've used. I'm hoping it helps out for you. And I really want to hear from you and how your class reacts to some of these things and how it helps them out. I really would love to hear those stories. I'm jazzed to see what happens for you in your class. I wish you luck in this. Thank you for stopping by again. I do appreciate if you enjoyed this video or if you thought it was helpful, please pass it along to one of your teacher friends. Tell them I said hi, or actually, hi. And then, yes, leave a like, subscribe, all of that information down below if you want to check out some of the things that I am also selling as far as the types of papers that I do also in my class. Thank you again for coming in. Remember, be the light and salt. Bye.